Hi, it's Tony from CassetteComeback.com, and today I'm going to be talking about some cassettes from probably the biggest cassette company you've never really heard of. So what are all these here? We've got a bit of a random jumble. We've got some Fuji, some Maxell, Mitsubishi, JVC, Sony, BBC, Memorex. What have these got to do with anything? The thing is that underneath all of these cassettes, they are very, very similar, if not exactly the same. Because towards the end of cassettes' life, a lot of companies didn't bother manufacturing them anymore. They knew that people would still buy them, like Mitsubishi, people bought the videotapes and the video recorders, but they didn't want to invest in creating their own tape formulations and doing that. Why would they want to do that? Likewise, JVC, etc. here. So what did they do? They did something which is called OEM, and OEM stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer, which basically means somebody else made them and slapped their name on them. Now, two of the biggest companies to do this at the end of cassette's heyday were Saehan and SKC, and all of these cassettes are Saehan. What do I mean? Well, we look at this Maxell S Super Power tape. Now, this was a European tape. I think it was only sold in Europe, as far as I know, through discount supermarkets like Lidl and Poundland, I think, maybe Aldi. A bit like the end-of-line BASF tapes I did a video of the other week, and also stuff like the TDK Super CD-ing, which was Germany only, which I may do a video on later. But you can't tell anything about these cassettes when you're buying them because they're all sealed. There's no view into the box. But however, if you unwrap one, you'll get a cassette that looks like this. Now, how do I know this is Saehan? Firstly, the shell. Look at the shell. The shell has this very distinctive small window in the middle. I don't know if you can tell here, it also has like A written on that side and B written in the other side in that very distinctive font. The hubs aren't always a giveaway. Sometimes the hubs like these, sometimes they're different, and they have these little pegs here which are very prominent on each side. But if you look at it, that's a Saehan. So how do they all the same? Well, let's just take this perennial favourite, the Memorex DBSI clown cassette, which the ladies love and is very nostalgic to people. Unwrap one of these, look at the shell. Again, the shell has a distinctive A and B on it. It's got the same pegs. These are more common for Saehan hubs, like this. But essentially, you can tell that these certainly have a very, very similar bloodline. And it's not just these two. Let's just go through. Sony. If you look at this Sony Super EF, look at them hubs. Look at them. You can see, even though I've not unwrapped it, it's got the middle bit for the sticker. This is a Saehan. Even though I have versions of this which aren't Saehan. They're actually Sony and they're quite different. The BBC is a Saehan. Yes, this has a nice slip sheet in it, but again, look at the shell. The A, the middle bit, the pegs, and underneath it, the hubs are like the Memorex, but only white. In fact, they're just like these ones. The Maxell XV, which was another European-only Maxell, which I believe was sold in Poundland, not Poundland, Pound Stretcher. But again, the shells are the same, the hubs are the same. Let's go to a Samsung, which probably makes sense because they are Korean. Again, same shell, different hubs. And then even the good old Maxell UR had a version which was Saehan again, same shell, same hubs as the Samsung in this case. And if we actually group all these together and have a look at the leaders, whoops, that was good, that was always going to happen. But let's just have a look. This one, if you look, they've got orange Orange leaders, and let me collect them other ones off the floor. Dear oh dear, like the BBC, if you can look here, this has an orange striped, horizontally striped, diagonally striped leader. That's Saehan. We've already looked at this one, but again, diagonally orange leader, diagonal orange leader. You get the gist. These cassettes were all made by the same people, so regardless of what's on the wrapper, they're all essentially, as far as I can tell, the same tape, the same shell. But that's not a bad thing, because they all are universally good, even though I do find them quite universally boring. You know, if I unwrap a tape which I've never seen before, you can imagine it's like, oh, Fuji CD fan. Wow, that looks fantastic. That looks great. And you unwrap it, and as you can probably see from the back, by the hubs, there's a little retainer peg again. This is also a Saehan. So there's nothing necessarily bad about them. It's just know that a lot of cassettes out there, and at this point, were no longer made by the companies that were on the wrapper. But let's have a listen to one. Let's do some recording, and you can see for yourself, well, hear for yourself, if these are worth getting anyway, because they're pretty plentiful and they're great value for money. Okay, so I'm going to use my Aiwa ADS 950 on this, simply because I'd like to show you that really these are pretty much the same tape by the way that they bias and the levels that they take. And I'm going to take two different tapes, two different manufacturers. We've got the Samsung SQC Studio Quality Cassette. Don't know what studio that is, it ain't Abbey Road. And the Maxell Superpower Tape S. I don't know why they had to keep talking rubbish like this, just it's a tape. But anyhow, if we actually look at the tapes itself, you can see they're pretty much a standard brown, very similar. But what we'll do is, we'll put the Samsung in first. Now, this deck is calibrated to SA, so everything's bang on centre. So let's see how these compare. Okay, now, a lot of people ask me about biasing, and the thing is, especially when it comes to levels like this, especially with Aiwa and Sony decks, the important thing is to get the top, which is a bias, level with the record sensitivity, which is the bottom. And then once they sort of match, you crank them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of positive bias there, so they're both level, and then I'm going to turn the level up so that they hit the desired point. And it's at this point here that pretty much the tape is calibrated. So it needs a tiny bit of positive bias, so that means they're quite bright, and then some level up to make it equal. So how does this compare now with the Maxell S? Will it be just the same, or is it a different tape in there? If we look at the biasing now, we can see that it's pretty much exactly the same. So, yeah, different brands, same shell, same hubs, same tapes, same Saehan. But that's so far negating the fact whether these are actually any good as cassettes or not. So let's have a listen, and you can make up your own mind. This is a bit of country rock from the YouTube royalty-free library, and it's called You're There. Where, I don't know what that is, but you're there. Okay, let's stop it there because you can hear this. These tapes are quite hissy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put Dolby B on, and and I'm going to bring the levels down a bit, so that's where Dolby is on here. Let's bring it down a bit. Let's try again now, recording with Dolby B. Now the source. Seem to be losing the highs with Dolby B on. Let's turn it off and we've got the highs back again. Back to the source. And there we go. So, these Saehan cassettes. Are they the best ferrics ever made? No. No, they're not. I think if you heard they're quite hissy. But saying that, a lot of about what a tape is, whether it's good or not, comes to stability. Yes, these are quite hissy tapes. Yes, at least on the Aiwa, when you put some Dolby B on, you sort of lost the highs a bit, but it could be the deck. You never know, different decks react different ways. But what I do like about the Saehan tapes, apart from the shells are very good, is the actual tapes themselves are stable. I don't hear a lot of dropouts on these. I don't lose channels on these, and as you saw with the biasing, they don't need a lot of tweaking and they're quite stable. That counts for a lot. But no, the sonic quality on the whole of these, it's competent. You know, you're not going to record your favourite album on these, but if you just want a mixtape, and these, let's be honest, these were the king, well, the queen even, of the mixtapes. These are all very good, and they're also very reasonably priced. You know, I don't know whether I can say they're better than something like the RTM Fox, which is new, because I don't think they are. The Fox is better. And I can't say that I think they're better than, say, a classic HF or a classic UR, even though some of these are actually branded as URs. But all I can say is the relatively low price. If you look beyond the wrappers, you know, Mitsubishi, JVC, you know, RCA, manufacturers, yeah, these are... If you can look beyond that and get some of the cheaper ones like the URs and, you know, these BBCs are usually quite reasonable. You're getting a tape that's better than the Chinese crap, which I've been doing videos about recently. So no, these aren't high-end, but they are decent, they are stable and reliable, and they're all reasonably priced. So if you just want some decent cheap ferrics to just bang some mixtapes on or give to people, then look for the Saehan branded ones. Well, not the Saehan branded ones, but look for your Saehan tapes. They look like this. And here's a little picture I found on the internet now, just to show you that they did actually release these as Saehans. Here it is. So thanks for watching. Please do join my YouTube, well, it's not my group, my Facebook group. We've had a lot of new members since I posted the links in there, and it's all friendly, everyone's all talking, everyone's all nice. And don't forget, all these cassettes are available for sale on my website, cassettecomeback.com. So until next time, keep taping. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.